Do I invest in convertible notes? The answer is not if I can possibly avoid it. The fundamental issue with notes, in my view, is that there's a lack of alignment. It's an unpriced instrument, so it gets its price when it converts, and so the investors are rooting for a low valuation, so they get a lot of stock for their dollar, and the entrepreneurs are rooting for a high valuation, so they give away less stock. It fundamentally, a note like that fundamentally boils down to equity risk for debt returns. Um, Often you'll see them with a discount on the price, but that discount is a tiny fraction of what an equity investor would get in a case where a company has made some progress for the next round. In addition, notes generally, simple notes don't have any kind of governance or protections, governance provisions or protections for the investors. So board seats and spending controls and those kinds of things that investors would typically see are missing. The caps are very tricky for entrepreneurs. If they suggest too high of a cap, it makes them look naive or it scares investors away. If they suggest too low of a cap, it's not good for the entrepreneur, and it suggests that they're not confident in the company. So the caps can be really tricky, and most investors won't invest in an uncapped note. Another issue from the investor's perspective is that you're not on the cap table. So you're just a contractual note holder. And if the company gets in a little bit of trouble and really needs money and another investor comes along, the other investor can say, I'll invest, but I'm not going to honor the discount on the note. So your rights can easily be negotiated away, and your alternative is for the company to fail and for you to lose your money. You can put all these kinds of protections back in, but the problem is by the time you're done adding all those protections, giving warrant coverage to make it perform more like equity, giving a note holders agreement and some governance and the discount and all those kinds of things, you've destroyed the essential benefit of what people tout a note brings, which is simplicity and inexpensive paperwork. So at the end of the day, it just doesn't feel like a great instrument for me. And that's not surprising, because it was actually the history of convertible notes was they were typically short-term instruments done by venture capitalists ahead of them doing a financing round. So they knew they were going to be financing an equity round, and they just gave a short convertible note to bridge the company for a little bit of operating capital while they were getting the round completed. And when you think about it in that perspective, you realize why it's not a great instrument for a standalone round, and why I almost never do them and Launchpad almost never does them.